Okay, so for this week I kind of wanted to do a food truck or something food related. So I came up with a brand for banana ice cream sandwiches. So I wanted the truck to be kind of high tech or have a lot of modifications, so not a typical food truck. So yeah, so this is me kind of doing a concept. I don't stick to this completely. I mean, there's certain things I do keep with, like the stripy, I don't know what it, cloth, I can't remember what it's called, and then a generator type thing, and then some, so it was going to be hothering, but then I decided to add kind of like big wheels because the stylized things, it has something like big or a noticeable character about it. So yeah, so this is my first try. I didn't really like how I was doing this. I tried modeling a food truck before and I got a bit stuck, so I didn't really like what I was doing. Then this is me trying to make an engine because I wanted it to be kind of like modified, so maybe like have a turbo engine. So yeah, this is a waste of time though because I don't actually use this. So yeah, this is the thing. Sometimes I don't really know how to start modeling. So I kind of have one file where I do it and then I make another file on the better version. So yeah, sometimes it's hard to just sculpt, well not sculpt, well model just from nothing. So yeah. I just didn't like how it looked and it just didn't look how I wanted it to be. So I wanted kind of like a monster, kind of big American truck kind of thing going on. So yeah, this was really frustrating because I did all this. I was trying to kind of like model certain features and then, so yeah, I didn't like that try. So I looked at other people's models and how they did it. That's kind of how I get inspiration as well. So this is the new improved version. So instead of using subdivision, which I normally do, I decided to use bevels, which I don't tend to do. So it kind of gives it a stylized feel, but still keeping the shape. So yeah, I use the bevel modifier for quite a lot of things. So this is me making the kind of, I don't know what it's called, cloth thing. I know there's a word for it, but I just can't remember. So yeah, so this is me kind of making that, and then making windows, kind of that tubey thing on the side of the tracks. I can't really explain it while it's going this fast, but yeah. So I kind of wanted to just take certain features from these trucks and put it onto the food truck. So I put canisters in the back. I wanted it to be bulky. So yeah, also there's the kind of like fan generator thing. Also gotta add tubes. So yeah, just making it feel kind of like mechanical and stuff like that. This is me making headlights. So yeah, I decided to give it two. So one there and then one near to the bottom of it. So yeah. So I made the windows quite distorted because if you want to go stylized, you kind of want to mix it up a bit. I probably could have made the roof a bit more distorted, but I like how it turned out. So yeah, bevels, not bevels, booleans were a pain to do, to cut out things. So I kind of made copies of the track as I went along, just in case something went wrong. So yeah, and I kind of like listing things that I have to add. So yeah. I wish I added more in terms of interior. I didn't really do anything there. I was gonna make like a painting and then put that on a plane and then use that, but I don't know, I just couldn't do it. So yeah, I wish I did more interior though. But yeah, these are really cool on Sketchfab, the things that people have done. I really like looking at them for inspiration. So yeah, this is me making the wheel. So I kind of wanted like kind of chunky army, kind of big tires kind of wheels. So yeah, me kind of redoing the windows. But yeah, when I went to seam this, which you'll see later, the topology was so a mess because of the booleans and stuff. It was really annoying. But yeah, here I'm just kind of doing cutouts. So I use spheres to cut out the wheels, which I saw someone else do. The only problem is that they're kind of a bit too high up in the vehicle, so if I wanted to do interior, it would be very difficult. So yeah, I did try to lower them, but when I do, it distorts, so they kind of stare too much, so it doesn't look good. But yeah, just kind of getting more reference. I kind of tend to get references halfway through the project, which is not the workflow, but it just kind of helps me. So with the inspiration, I saw a lot of people do ice cream trucks, and they put kind of like a dollop of ice cream on the top, and I wanted to do that but with a split banana. So I tried doing sculpting it, modeling it somehow. So yeah, I just couldn't do it how I wanted it to go. So I just scrapped that idea because, I don't know, it just didn't look how I wanted it to look. There's probably an easier way to do it, but yeah. So instead I put an ice cream sandwich type thing on the generator bit and then on a pole in the front. So yeah, I was gonna add some doors, but so I kind of forget about some details, like kind of like adding doors, which was a bit annoying, but I kind of texture painted doors on the back. I don't really mess around with the doors on the front, but yeah. So this is me trying to make the fans. I was gonna go all kind of technical and actually model them properly, but then I thought it really contrasted what I'd already done, because I haven't really modeled anything in detail. So I thought if I did that, then it would just make it look weird. So yeah. For the engine, I wanted it to be in the front, because you see some cars have the engine in the front. Wait, no. Oh my god, please. Oh, I just had a brain. Jesus. Okay. Okay, no, but I wanted it to be like see-through, so you can see kind of the engine parts. So yeah, I was gonna have it. Okay, no, what I mean is I was gonna have it on top of the kind of bonnet, but then I thought that would be kind of ridiculous because you couldn't see anything. So unless the windows were higher up, but yeah. If I did that, that would go with the truck feeling, because truck windows are pretty small and they're pretty high up, so yeah, that's probably a missed idea, but it's okay. So yeah, kinda, is this the unwrapping bit? Yes, it is. So I use the knife tool to cut a line directly in the center of it. It is a bit wonky because I didn't really cut it evenly, so yeah. You always need a line in the middle just to split the thing up. So yeah, I just kind of split it up how I thought it would go, and then if I wanted to add more, I would change the seams. Kind of experimentation again. I really hate UV unwrapping. There's just something about it, and then I had to fix all the vertices because you might see, but when I pull one of the vertices out, it kind of like there's another one behind it magically, and I think that's because the cutouts. I'm gonna say it's the cutouts, but yeah. Also, there was some parts that were harder to do. So like the kind of bumper in the front was a bit hard to unwrap. So yeah, sometimes it doesn't unwrap how you want. Like it, I don't know how it can't just unwrap as a square, and you're like, and then yeah. It's just a bit annoying sometimes, but yeah, so I do actually unwrap it, which is nice. I still need to get in the habit of exporting everything together. Because texturing would be so much easier, then I don't have to go back and forth. I kind of forget about it in the moment because I'm so used to just doing it separately, but it would really help. Plus with the baking, it would just be easier. I don't know, man. But yeah, so I used a mirror modifier because I didn't want to fix the vertices on the other side, so I just did it like that. I think it turned out pretty good. It might be a bit more smaller, like skinnier, but I think I tried my best to keep the kind of original shape. I did kind of get lazy at the end, like I didn't add kind of like poles to the side mirrors, and then yeah, I forget to texture some things, but I kind of fixed that by just copy and pasting already textured items. So yeah, I just wish I just put them all together, like, you know how easier it would be, and I can just separate it with textures. Man, I just forget in the moment. But yeah, so for the wheels, I put them on top of each other. I kind of do this for some more objects because it's just so much easier, because I don't have to go around and texture each wheel. I don't have to use the mirror tool. The mirror tool in Substance sometimes is a bit weird, so yeah. Then I did organize this and kind of like, I did think about it. So I put the tires at the top, and then anything details or metal to the top left, and then kind of the base at the bottom. But then I forgot the bumper's going to be a different color, so I probably should have moved that near the top. So yeah, I also tried to sneak some other bits in there, like I added the piece of cloth, I still don't know what it's called, the menu. So yeah, I use my stylized texture, which I made, which makes things look so much better when it actually has more geometry. So yeah, I also bake this because then you can see everything. So I was really inspired by the new Valorant collection. It's kind of like Borderlands kind of drawn thing. So yeah, I really liked it. So I kind of did some sketching of my own onto this. So yeah. Yeah, here just making some back doors. I wanted to be, yeah, so I added some highlights to the lights. I put a light in there in Blender, so you might not be able to see it, but yeah. Then I was trying to be creative with the number plate because, yeah, and I just, I didn't know what kind of thing I wanted to do, so yeah. Then also I kind of map out kind of like a logo thing that's going on, so yeah. I really like the kind of other, like, me texturing this, I also have to think about kind of like the brand, the logo, and I think that's really cool. I really like thinking about stuff like that, but I wish I did it more in depth because I feel like I could get somewhere if I did it like that. But yeah, so I also used a rubber to make it worn out, but for the brand, it's kind of like too happy, kind of like smile, kind of creepy thing. I was gonna add like a knife or some kind of blood when I did the final bits, but I was just a bit burnt out. But it was trying to be kind of like creepy, too happy to be true, kind of something like that. So yeah, so the branding is very kind of like just smile, blah blah blah. So yeah, so I really like doing graphics like this. This side has a lot of the graphics and is not boring. I wish I did some more on the other side, especially in the top, because there's a big gap between the cloth and the top of the van truck. So yeah, there wasn't a lot going on, but yeah. I really like doing things like this, but I also wish I could do more of this in Photoshop, because sometimes if I'm making like a toothpaste brand, I don't want the writing to be kind of like looking painted on. Sometimes I want kind of just like just typed writing, if that makes any sense, and just more like better shapes, like actual straight squares, because I don't think Substance, as far as I know, has any kind of like rectangle tools. It has a straight line tool, but it doesn't have like a circle tool. So yeah, I do go to export it into Photoshop, but it didn't actually open, so I don't know what happened there. So this was really cool. I used kind of like a texture to do this rather than painting it on, which I thought I was so smart for this. I thought, dude, I'm so amazing. So yeah, so I did the menu. I wish I put more detail into the menu, but I didn't. Sometimes you want to add a lot of detail, sometimes you don't. I think I kind of burnt out on the side with all kind of branding, so yeah. So yeah, we go to export. I really like looking at the texture map after. So yeah, I think it looks really cool. So yeah. So this is me unwrapping kind of the extra details. I'm glad I put them on another texture, but again, I wish I exported them together so I didn't have to do this all again. So yeah, I accidentally missed out some parts that I did unwrap to put on there, but yeah. So this map was more spacious because there wasn't much of objects on this one or UV parts. So yeah, straight in the tubes, I made it into squares because I didn't think it needed that much detail. So yeah, baked them, but then I brung the truck in and baked them again to take in consideration the kind of truck as well. So yeah, the baking was okay. Some of it was a bit weird, especially on the tanks near the back. It just looked a bit weird. So yeah, I really like the kind of, so for the metal I kind of used a blue edge instead of a kind of like typical black edge or a darker color. So yeah, also just kind of painted things on rather than using normals. I like using normals, but sometimes I don't want to use them, so yeah. Kind of added some rings around the pipes and kind of screws or bolts, so yeah. Played around with the yellow colours for the kind of sandwich, then painted the kind of like brown bits of the banana. I gave it a smiley face as well. I don't really want to put too much detail into the banana because I didn't do it on the branding. Plus I feel like it would take away the kind of minimalistic kind of style we've got going on. So yeah, so this was rough because I wanted to export it into Photoshop and then do it on there, but then it didn't happen, so I just used that. So yeah, painted kind of glassy bits to the mirrors. So I did this, so I painted the glass as well because I thought it would just be easier, plus I could make it transparent and still have the texture on it, so yeah. It does look a bit repetitive though with the glass, so I kind of want to maybe make a glass shader because that might be more easier than having to paint those little scribbles on. Plus they don't really make sense where the scribbles are, so yeah. Also then I went in and added planes and then coloured them black so you don't see beyond that window. So this is me kind of painting the engine, and I was going to do it in Illustrator because you get more nicer curves, but then I went back and decided to do it in here instead. So I did model all the parts in the engine, but then I thought it might be easier if I just put a texture on a plane. I was gonna use like an engine picture, but then it looked too realistic for what I was doing, so yeah. This isn't accurate at all, it's just pipes, circles, squares, and stuff like that. So yeah, this could have been done better. That was a bit of the rush, but you don't really see it, so I thought that was okay. So yeah, I was gonna paint an interior here, but I did get kind of burnt out and didn't really know the direction I was trying to go for. Again, I was gonna make get a picture of the internet, but it would look too realistic, so yeah. This is me making grass. So I kind of did the game grass technique where you use 2 planes and then a transparent image for the grass, which worked very well. I really like the kind of end result of that, so yeah. I was gonna try doing mess around with some nodes of the grass, but then I just got a texture I made ages ago, so yeah, so I just put that on the floor and mapped it out, so yeah. Also organizing the objects so everything not supposed to be seen isn't seen, so yeah, kind of first renders. I forgot to change the background, so we kind of go do that. I do go to paint a kind of sky background because I kind of wanted clouds, and the dynamic sky kind of add-on wasn't really cartoony enough for me. So yeah, so this is me doing the background, then I import it in onto a cylinder, which works. It looks good, but it didn't go all the way round, and then when I did make it go all the way round, it was kind of casting shadows, which you don't want because it's the sky. So yeah, I tried fixing it by using a diffuse thingy node, but yeah, it didn't work. So I kind of export the clouds with transparent backgrounds. I try to use the curve modifier to kind of make them revolve around a circle, but that didn't really work. Then the clouds, they kind of sometimes popped up, sometimes didn't render. So yeah, tried to mess around with that, and then kind of got a bit fed up because the clouds weren't rendering. So I do go back and play with metaballs and make clouds out of those and then dot them around as well, because those are clearer clouds. But yeah. Yeah, so that was nice. I like doing it. I just wish I did more interior, because man, it would have been so cool. But yeah. We're done for the week, yay. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish this video, but thanks, bye.